boys heading out of town. Their faces are up, but their eyes are down. There's a sun that seems to be shining upside down. And around and around, upside down, and around and around, upside down, and around and around, until we reach the outskirts of town, where we find time and time again that the great outdoors is a barbed wire fence.
Okay, let's. I didn't press live. There's all these other things gone wrong. The What the F Boys can't do tonight, and so we're filling in. I've reached out. I didn't reach out far because I was actually staying at Fort Bill, but I got Bill on from Fort Bill,
All right.
and I need to thank you, man, for the bus is going great. The clutch. I was only joking. The clutch is working really well. We're just not used to a working clutch, and yeah, it's been amazing stay there, and but when I was in Sydney, Bill, I'd done a speech in Adelaide, and then I'd gone to the airport in Adelaide, flown to Melbourne, flown to Sydney, and was just really despondent, thinking, what the hell am I doing? When I said, I just want to sit in a park for a bit. And in this park, I was accosted by this Paul Heathwood, who came up, and he turned out to be an unvaccinated Uber driver. And he just gave an extraordinary interview. And he's been on a few times. So I reached out to him, and here he is.
G'day, boys. How are you? Great to see you, Michael. Great to meet you, Bill. Yeah,
it's
Thanks.
great. There's just to show some of the stories, as we're waiting on Richard to come in, because I think he's having a bit of trouble. Tell him that amazing story, Paul, where you were driving through Sydney during the lockdowns and you picked up that lecturer who'd had 3 heart attacks. Remember that?
Oh, mate, do I what? Yeah, that was one of the defining moments in one of the defining moments in my life. I was driving Uber part time, and anyway, I drove right through the pandemic. I drove for about 5 years on and off, but right through the pandemic. Anyway, when they started just after they started the mandates, I was picking a few people up here and there, and I was hearing the odd story. But about a week or 2 weeks into these mandates, I picked a young gentleman up from one of the major universities in Sydney, and he jumps in the car. Nice young bloke, early 30s, mid 30s. How are you, Paul? I'm good. You know, usual stuff in the as you do. And without me virtually uttering another word, he says to me, Jesus, I've been crook as a dog, Paul. I said, what's the matter, mate? I said, you're a bit too young to be crook. He said, I've just come back to work from 2 major heart attacks. I said, 2 major? I looked over my shoulder at him and I said, 2 major heart attacks? You're kidding me. What's none of my business, but mate, what's going down? He said, well, you know, these mandates that have come out. I said, oh yeah, I'm hearing a few stories here and there, but I said, carry on, mate. He said, look, I've had to do the double jab that they've imposed on us at the university. And straight away after that, I've had 2 major heart attacks. So I've been in hospital for the last couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and I've just come back to work today. And I said to him, I'll never forget, and this is, I remember doing this interview with you, Michael, and one of our interviews, and I said to him, virtually, I'll never forget these words until I die. I don't think. I said, mate, what are the university doing about it? And he said to me, mate, I'll never forget it. He said to me, Paul, I've been told by my faculty head that if I speak out about it, I'll never work in academia again. And man, that was an eye opener for me, boys. My eyes went up like dinner plates, and I already knew there was a lot of BS on it, and because I'd smelled a rat, during the lockdowns and prior to the lockdowns. Actually, I just didn't feel right about it, and he just confirmed my thoughts of what the hell is going on here. This is not about some bloody virus. This is about potential, takeover of the world, And so, yeah, that was in the early days of the mandates, and then made it just flowed on from there, just flowed on from there.
Alive?
Well, I hope so. Gee, Michael, that's a good question. My God, that's a good question. I pray that he is, because but look, there could be a chance that he mightn't be alive, because he said he had two major heart attacks. Boom, boom. So God knows what, and whether he's had to take another one or not. After that would be another question as well, boys. So
Yeah.
I was living, as I've said to Michael previously in a couple of interviews we've done. I felt like I was living a double life from mainstream society, because I was getting all this first-hand information and picking up all these people that were getting completely very sick from these jabs, and getting all the stories and everything, and not one word of it was being reported in the mainstream media.
Yeah.
So, mate, what a journey! What a journey! And I had a couple of senior executives, newspaper executives, that I did pick up. One I knew. I knew his wife very well. I'd grown up with her as friends, and both those people. The other one that I picked up, she was a senior newspaper editor for the Australian, I think. Anyway, both those people, I said to them in the car, I said, well, I'm picking up all these people that are shot to pieces, and also that have, lost loved ones, fathers, mothers, aunties, uncles, children, and you mongrels, you absolute mongrels, I have not printed one word about this in the newspapers. What the hell's going on? And I just hit them with it, because once that young bloke at university told me what he went through with the two major hacks, it became about my children's futures. Then I said, I'm happy to leave the planet 25 years or 30 years early if I have to, for the sake of my children's futures. So a couple of these mongrels that got in the car, that senior executives, they mate, they got in the wrong Uber. Let me tell you, they got in the wrong Uber. And when I confronted them with all this stuff that I was seeing, mate, they were like little lambs. They were like little lambs. Yeah. Now, and when you look at it now, boys, you look at the media in Australia, it's 25. If you look at BlackRock, correct me if I'm wrong, but BlackRock has something like 25% of ownership of the Australian media, and full control of the boards of these major media companies. So you can see, when you join the dots, as we've all done over the last 5 years, you can see how this is all played out. Do you know what I mean? They just make what's his name? That shitbag that's now the Larry Fink, right? Who's now taken over Dr. Evil's job at the World Economic Forum. He just, he sends one of his lieutenants, says, get on the phone to Australia, tell them not to put that in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they control. Yeah, because they've got controlling interest.
Wait a sec, Paul. Just for a sec. We've got Richard Ford here, Mr. Hearts himself. This is Paul Heathwood. Paul was, I don't even
G'day,
remember
Richard.
him. He was the Uber
How are you,
driver in Sydney, driving through the lockdowns as unvaccinated
How did you
Uber
not
driver,
punch many people, Paul? I
planting
just want
little
to ask.
seeds with every journey. You know.
Hello, Bill. Love you, brother. Hello, Michael. Hello, Paul. Nice to meet you. Hey,
Yeah. So
Paul,
the What the
could I
Fuck
ask you a
boys
question?
can't make it tonight, and Wayne's working, Tom's having a few issues, so we're filling in. We've got the blokes together to fill in, and
Good stuff. Good stuff.
go ahead, Bill.
Sorry, I said I got to apologise. I'm drinking tea. So what? Right.
Yeah, well, we don't have What the Fuck tonight, so we don't have What the Fuck. We don't have all the show. So is this racist? Well, yes, Richard is racist. Okay, so we've entered that. We've got that segment out of the...
How's that going?
That segment's gone.
All right, cut that, cut. No go.
Oh,
Paul, I got
yeah,
I
yeah.
just
And he
tell you
has,
something funny.
mate.
Well, before you go on, I'll just tell you something funny. We had, I'm not going to say his name, but we had a major reporter. This is a major reporter, and I've been working with him on and off over the years. Sometimes he does hit pieces on me to get stories of the Forest, the Fallen, Dazzle, and everything else. Anyway, he wrote a piece for another independent writer, Rebecca Barnett, in which he said the mainstream media, the journalists had failed Australia during this last few years, and he was immediately sacked. But he's just got another job in Port Macquarie, and he's been at Bill's a few times, and he got talking to Bill's and my friend Michael, and Michael started talking about Yowies, and he has become, he's on the phone to me today, he's obsessed. He's becoming obsessed with Yowies.
Wow.
He says 5 years ago, pre-COVID, he was said, oh, bullshit. But now he doesn't know what to believe. And Michael's sitting there going, yeah, I came across one. It was an old one, grey hair. He's drinking out of his thing. He looked at me, and he's about 9 foot tall. And I don't know if the fucking true or not. But this guy now goes, I'm thinking of leaving my job to become a Yowie hunter. Such is the effect of coming to Port Bill.
Is he getting paid for it?
He actually wants to come to your place, Bill, to search for the Yowie.
Yeah.
Bigfoot up on the north coast. Bigfoot on the north coast.
So I was going to say, oh, here's the girl. So I was going to say hello. Here she comes.
Hello, Kel. Hello.
Hello, Kelly.
Hello, beautiful.
So he wants to come to Bill's place to start searching for Yowies. And so I was going to ask Richard, I know you've had a relationship with a Yowie over the years. I wonder if you could tell us something about them.
Well, I didn't think we were going to bring that up tonight, but there's this one time.
Well, we got an hour and a half to fill with anything we can think of.
There was this one time I did go camping, and I did wake up with Vaseline in some spots that I thought wasn't very, it was like, what happened there? So
where do you think they put the Vaseline?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you woke up and you were out camping and you woke up in, the Yowie world, and you woke up with Vaseline in spots you didn't want them to be, would you tell anyone about it?
No.
No. Would you want to come camping? Got ya! Yes! Oh, got ya!
You did.
1-0. 1-0's been a long time, Michael. It's been a long time.
It's 1-1. I got you with something recently, or a few months back. I
was
can't
it?
remember what it was. That was a good one.
Was.
That was a good one. Another good one to get people with is years ago, my daughter was having an argument in the car about something, and she said the word gullible. And I said, that's not actually a word. And she goes, yes, it is. I said, no, it's not even in the dictionary. Google it. And so she did. And then, of course, she's going. So anyway, minor dad joke shit. Listen, I have not been watching what's happening in the world, so I can't have a huge discussion. Is anybody, Bill, have you been watching what's happening in the world?
Yeah, you played it under a bonnet.
Richard, have you been keeping up on world affairs?
Come on, mate. Me? Keep up with the affairs?
Paul, how about yourself? I literally.
Yeah.
Is anything
There's a few
happened today?
things.
You know, anyone shot Trump or
Well,
anything like that?
Trump's releasing has given the approval to release all the Epstein files.
No way.
So he's back. Yeah. Now it's got to go through the Congress and the Senate, and then he apparently, as far as I understand, they've got to vote on it, which they probably will be a formality. Then it's got to get voted through the Senate, and then as the president, he then signs the executive orders to release all the Epstein files. So he 360 on that, I noticed.
Talk about that for a sec,
yeah,
because that's really clever. He's handing it to the Congress, knowing that half the Congress are on the files, so there's no way they're going to approve it. But instead, he's like saying, "Give me the approval, I'll sign the form." So he's handing it all over to them. Is that what is happening?
Well, I also think that he as the president, can buy. Look, I mightn't be right on this, but I think he as the president can bypass all of that if he wants to and just sign off on it and get and release them. But I'm not 100% on that. I'm not 100% on it. Yeah.
What
He'd want
do you think,
to hope
Bill?
he's not on the list, wouldn't he?
What's that,
He'd want to hope he wasn't on the list. Maybe he forgot he was on the list. Say, he handed you approve it, and then shit, I was on the list. Donald.
Yeah. Well, apparently there's been such a backlash over there regarding releasing these so-called Epstein files that he's had to look. Let's face it. Like, that was one of his presidential his campaigning promises when he was campaigning. Was, I'm going to release the files. And then when he became president, he was wishy-washy on it, and there was a little bit of stuff came out and all that sort of stuff. But and then he tried to just hide it all and make it go away. But look, I don't think. I'll be very surprised if he's implicated in anything major. I don't really see him as that type of character. But it'll be very interesting if these documents are released. So there'll be a lot of people shaking in their boots at the moment, I would imagine, over in the good old United States of America.
Yeah, man.
It's
the kind of time where you're glad you're poor as a man. Because there's no way they're going to invite us to the island unless we're gardeners.
Mate, they may have on that island. They may have 21-seater coaster buses. Bill could go and fix. They may have. A fridge full of beer that I could drink. Paul, what's your specialty?
With you.
Well,
Sorry, Bill, what do you say?
obviously.
Bill, can I just have a sec? Bill, can you say something? I couldn't hear you. I just want to hear your audio.
Well, Paul could drive the bus around the island.
Easy. We've got it covered, guys. Get a ticket.
Put the Uber.
Let's go.
Put the Uber bus on. Put the Uber bus on. The other thing, boys, is if anyone wants to know anything about Epstein Island and Epstein and all of the shenanigans that have gone on there, just go and ask Prince Andrew. Well, he's not a prince anymore. He's just Andrew Windsor or whatever his name is. He's probably drinking.
Andrew.
He's probably drinking down a local pub in London. He's probably in the local pub in London now. He's just a regular.
No, he's not in London. He's in a housing commission flat in
some other castle estate.
He's getting Meals on Wheels,
He's in Luton. He's in Luton on the fourth floor. He's in Luton on the fourth floor of the house.
You know what? You know what's really interesting though? So all of us have been sort of a part of what's been happening for the last few years, and yet 3 of us are not even watching what's happening today. And like, we've got digital ID coming. I think that's actually really healthy, because when I get on now, it's just like fear, and you go, what are you going to say, Paul?
just on that, Michael, on the digital ID, I have been looking. I've sort of have been doing a little bit of looking at the news and all that sort of stuff. The Spanish Prime Minister has come out of the Davos, the WEF conference in Davos, on his speech and said he wants. This is the Spanish Prime Minister. In his speech, he has called for everyone on the planet to have ID on the internet, whether you're Googling something or, you're looking up Grace Brothers or, David Jones or, what if you're just on the internet generally, not on social media, he wants everyone to be ID'd. This clown, this Spanish Prime Minister wants everyone on the planet to be directly ID'd. I mean, it's just beyond belief. It's beyond belief.
No, I'm okay with that, mate. Yeah. No, I'm fine with it. Where do we get one of these IDs? Where do we sign up? Come on, let's do it.
I mean,
let's do it.
Well, we can't stop digital ID. I mean, we've been talking at Bill's place about it, especially with Michael, because Michael's a real veteran, and he wants it brought on. He says, bring it on. And Bill was saying the same, bring it on. I think we actually need stuff to get harder before we'll change anything. Otherwise, we'll just keep plodding along like this, and they'll chip away and chip away. How are you thinking, Bill?
Yeah, I do. Sorry, I'm getting attacked by bugs. If we stay the way we are, the government obviously took their foot off the throttle during COVID. So if we stay doing what we're doing, we're going to everyone's just going to keep, paying the bills and, trying to survive. And whereas if we, people start losing things, especially maybe the young'uns when the internet gets really hard and they've got to, maybe though, I think the young ones will be the ones that work out the way to circumnavigate it anyway. Like if I've got a problem with any of my electronic stuff, I'm straight on the phone to my son going, how do I fix this when he comes and visits? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I
mean, if they locked the 15, if they locked us all out, it'd be the 15 and 16-year-olds would be the only ones who could get on. So we'd all be asking them, how do we get past this thing?
We'd be hacked. They'd be using us as their, Michael Gray Goopers.
Look at Richard.
They are.
And Paul. Paul, you in your 50s? I'm guessing.
I'm 60 now. I've turned 60 in June, mate. I'm a senior.
Well done,
okay,
mate.
you're the senior here. Just going to say, all four of us are living museums or living memories because we remember what it was like when there was no internet. You had the yellow pages. You had the Melways or whatever to find your way around. Remember those?
Yeah. The Gregory's.
Out by someone.
Did anyone of you guys, were you driving the car and the passenger was navigating with the Melways and you had an argument? Did anyone have that experience?
Yeah.
Wasn't it fun?
I used to hate it when they turn it upside down. You're like, no, north up.
Oh, God.
No, I think I had it. My dad hated me because I'd ripped out a page once to go somewhere when I was young. And he kept on me for years going, whenever he wanted to go anywhere, it was on that effing page. But this is what I'm saying is like everyone's saying, oh, digital ID, we've got to get off the internet. Maybe that might be healthy. And it might be a real protest that suddenly, because there's so many businesses reliant on the internet, and apart from the social media companies, everybody, that it might be such an economic hit if everyone goes, no, you want to control me this much, I'll be fine without it. That might actually be the protest. You know?
I reckon you're right. Yeah. Because we've known how to do it before. We'd known exactly how to do it before. And, okay, we'll give it another crack. It's not that hard because we did it.
I mean, imagine trying to do Uber with the Melways.
Well, when I was a young bloke, I was in direct sales. I've basically been in my main career was in financial services, but I started in the life insurance industry when I was 20, and I remember going out. Like Sydney is a very spread out city, goes for 60 kilometres and one way and 100 kilometres the other way. So I remember as a young bloke going all these places out west at 7:30 at night, pitch black. The old with the directory trying to find these joints. and
Yeah,
then
that's right.
and then when you finish your business, it's about 10:30 at night. You're trying to navigate your way out of these places.
But you
getting home
probably
at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Well, you probably do also remember that's when we used to use our brains for that stuff. That we had to recall how we got there, and then we had to try and backtrack. Right, we got there for the map. Now let's try and get home without the map. We had to use our brains.
Yeah.
Or
Man, let's just press
your brains could get you to the suburb, and then you just use the mailways for the thing. You actually did use your brains. You know what I mean?
Good. Yeah, I haven't done that for years.
Yeah.
Well, even
just
remembering
on that,
the phone number.
What's that, Bill?
Yeah.
Even just remembering phone numbers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
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 The other day, boys, I went two shops in a row, and paid with cash, and both the young people at the cashier couldn't give me the correct change. They didn't know how to add up and subtract. Unbelievable.
That could happen. That might have been their
Two in a
first
row.
day.
Two in a row.
Might have been their first day. You might have hit the jackpot, mate. It might have been their first day at work.
No, the young kids, because maybe, mate, but the young kids now, obviously, as we know, it's all on computer and everything. They've lost a lot of these, not everyone, but a lot of these kids have lost the art of quick subtraction and multiplication in their minds. I remember, listen to this, boys. I'm talking about going back. I worked when I was a young bloke back in the 80s. I worked as a bookmaker's clerk at the races, right?
Yeah.
And in those days, there was no computers, so I had to write the tickets out and had to multiply all the odds in my mind, and then I'd do the next week or the next day I'd do the penciling with a ledger, write the bets down in the ledger, right? And the bookmaker would say, Paul, how much is name a famous racehorse, for example, how much is Kingston Town taking out? And I had to tell the bookmaker. I worked for one bookmaker. I worked for Bill Waterhouse. Was Australia's biggest bookmaker in the 80s, 90s. Big Bill. I was on one of his stands, and then I worked for another couple of bookmakers. Worked for a couple of SP bookmakers too. But at the races, that was great training for my brain, because you had to tell if the bookmaker said to me, how much is Kingston Town taking out? I had to go, 100,000 straight away. I had to say $100,000, Bill. So then he would know then whether he had to go and lay off if he wanted to back it back or not. You know what I mean? And lay some of that money off. So that was a brilliant ground for me to you absolutely for 5 or 6 hours on a Wednesday or a Saturday, absolutely had to use your brain like a calculator. Unbelievable. Now they've all got computers and all that.
They'd be on your back like crazy, wouldn't they?
Oh, mate, 100%.
Right, Paul, I'm going to give you a bit of a test. Michael, you yell out some times tables and let's have a crack. Come on, I reckon I got you on this one.
Okay. 9 times 12.
9 12's no good.
72. I know 94. 94?
Oh, I got
108. 108.
Yeah. Go again, Michael. Come on.
I can see them in your reflection of your glasses, Richard. You're looking at them on the.
No. I'll turn it off then. I'll turn that.
Oh, you're looking at it.
No, I'm not.
I'm lying.
I'm looking at. It's a light source. All it is the laptop. It's a light source. Come on. Right, I'll hold it up here. I can't look at the laptop. Promise. Let's go. Come on, another one.
I used to really like maths at school, especially algebra, and but now my brain has lost those skills. Honestly, I look at maths now, and
but your times tables,
your
times tables is all we needed. We didn't need to learn the timetables. We needed to parrot fashion the timetables.
That's
because
right.
Yeah.
That's all
That's
we
what
needed
they
to
wanted
do.
us to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could do it
But-
then, and you learn little tricks.
Why did we have to do algebra at school? That was a load of bullshit, wasn't it? Algebra.
Oh, no,
What
that
was
to
that
make
all
you
about?
think. To make
I
you
used
think.
it
Was it?
today.
Because I asked the teacher. Teacher said it's to teach you how to problem solve and think. That's the purpose.
Okay.
What are we going to say?
I used it today, algebra, for work.
You did?
Well, we had to do angles.
Isn't
I
that
said, right,
geometry?
Oh,
boys,
yeah.
That
let's
geometry?
No, that's
So what we-
Pythagoras,
this
mate,
is,
doing
this
your
is my
90.
form of algebra. We got the bit of wood, we held it up there, we traced behind it, we pulled it down, we cut it off, we stuck it back up, we nailed it, and then we fucking fascia's done. That's my algebra for today.
Just getting back to the modern world. I mean, we're not going to ever get rid of computers. That's gone. But I don't know. I just feel that there's questions happening amongst society and amongst the people I interact with, where they're questioning things a lot about life, and a lot of people are thinking, could they get off it? I've actually, for the last, say, 2 or 3 weeks, I've cut my internet use by maybe 3/4. I used to be sitting there constantly on Facebook, and now I'm not doing it, and I actually feel healthier for it. I actually like the fact that I have no idea what's going on in the world, because the world doesn't give a shit whether I know or not. Because you can almost get caught up when I'm a part of this. If I like this, I'm a part of this great global conversation, and you're not. you just, and it's not really there. And what's actually happening and important to your life is around you, and that's what I'm thinking now. Is I think, who was it? Someone told me the other day. You go to a restaurant and Paul Oosterhouse. He goes to the beach and everyone's on their phones. There's the ocean, there's the sky, there's G-strings walking around, all this stuff. And you're thinking, really is, but I was a part of that too. So it's a okay. Alex has done his maths.
I can't read it. It's too small.
1 + 1 = 241. There's but I am thinking, are you sensing it? I'm thinking that could this be healthy for us? Because we're the generation that's had the internet, and we've really enjoyed it and stuff like this, and been frustrated, but really enjoyed it. But could there be a life without it? Could there be a life without social media? Could we do something weird like talk to each other or something?
Well, I remember the only thing I'd miss is I use it a lot for weird problems, like that van I did, and it's blowing smoke when it's cold, so I do a Google search on that. 99% of the time, it leads you down the wrong path, or to a different vehicle to what you've put in. But yesterday, when I was rebuilding Florence's older sister's motor, a good friend Kim's bus, I needed to quickly, look up the torque specs. I used to have to go for doing up the head bolts and the big end bolts, and I used to run down. You have to go to the library and go and look that up.
Yeah.
So that'll be one thing.
Why is it so important? Why is it so important that some bolts are torqued to have a certain, that set at a certain? Why can't you just tighten it till tight as it gets? Why is the torque so important?
Because there's if you over tighten it, especially on a head bolt, I can get really technical, but if you got a flat deck and you got a bolt that screws into it, it actually will mushroom that up, and then your head gasket won't seal. And then if you don't do it tight enough, the head gasket will fret and move side to side, and then it'll blow it.
Okay.
So there's a lot that goes on in a motor. It's a really fascinating thing for me. Like mathematics and things wasn't my thing at school at all. I could never really see the sense of it all. Chemistry, couldn't find that interesting, but now everything I do is chemistry, mathematics, So yeah, it's funny how you do the big circle. I'd almost go back and learn chemistry if universities weren't such a horrible place. Well, I
Yeah.
see them as not a nice place.
While we're on the subject of bolts, Bill, what do we use this bolt for?
Oh, I can't quite see
All of
it.
us
It's a
would be
long
both-
bolt. That looks like that's a coach bolt.
Ah, the lesson begins. Love it.
What do you mean a
Love it.
coach bolt?
Well, it's got a domed head with a square under that end. So it's actually built for timber. So it goes in and locks in under the head there in the timber. So, and then you can do the nut up without holding it.
So it
Okay.
locks into there. Yeah, it locks into there. You drill a hole there in the timber, push it in. That square, like Bill said, holds in the circle, and then it goes through the timber, and then you screw the nut up there, holds the gate post together or whatever you're screwing together. But it's just a
I
big
think they used to hold bodies together, like a coach body.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah.
Well,
Wagon wheels, they're unbelievable to watch made and what's being made and how they're actually held together.
Yeah, I bet they are.
Freaking crazy.
They used to put a metal ring around them at the end, didn't they? To hold
Heat
it
it
in
up,
place.
shrink it, and water.
Yeah.
And your early ancestors, Bill, would have probably done some of that way back.
Well, my grandfather was in England when the gasoline power, they went from steam to gasoline. And one of the postcards he had, he sent me of I'm going to say this wrong, a Casablanca, which is like a big convertible truck that they turned into a bus.
Yeah.
And he was just marveling on the back how it had rubber covered wheels.
Yeah.
So it didn't actually have a rubber tire, but instead of a steel band,
Yeah.
And another thing he wrote, he was talking about police, how he was very unhappy with the police in England when he was driving steam trucks, and they were limited to 4 miles per hour. We think we're hard done by now.
4 miles.
4 miles per hour. And he's the copper used to hide on his push bike behind a bush, so you couldn't even see him. And then he'd drop him behind the trailer of your steam wagon, and you wouldn't even know he was there. And he'd time you, and then if you took it to court, it was like £2 or something. And if you took it to court, the magistrate would instantly double it. So it was like. This was in early 1900s, just before World War One.
Can you imagine catching someone going 4Ks an hour? I mean, you could literally walk next to them at a
no, what is it? 4 miles per hour it was.
4 miles.
Yeah. But, there was some amazing things, like same as food. Like he got on a sailing ship, and he was one of the stories he told was. He got on. He was 15, and my great grandmother, and they lived in Mount Macedon, and so he ran away, went to I don't know what the port is in Melbourne, I forget now, and got on a sailing ship, and I always assumed he went straight to England, but it sailed around. It was a 4-masted sailing freight ship,
like a frigate or something.
Beresque or something. Anyway, but one of the stories, he as a junior, you had to go and help the cook. So he got told to go and get a barrel of pork out of the store, and him and the cook broached it. Right, so they knock it in, and when they put the pork in brine, every year it was in the store, they'd drive the bung into the keg, the barrel, and take a sample of the brine out. And if it was still sound, they'd drive a fresh bung in it. So they broached this barrel of pork, and he's pulled out 17 bungs out of inside of it.
Oh.
So it had been in the store for 17 years. He's 15, right? So, and then they'd filled up at Liverpool, like got all the stores 2 years before that. So the barrel of pork was 18 years old. It was older than him,
God.
18 or 19 years old. And then he finishes the sentence with, and it was perfectly sound, so therefore we ate it. And I'm like, I couldn't imagine, some of
We got a use by date if it's 1 day out. We're like, I'm not
yeah,
touching
oh no, best before, we'll throw it out.
that.
So is that where the term pork barreling comes from? Where does that come from? That term?
That's interesting.
I'm not 100% sure. I know they had a lot of problems with the Navy where they'd changed the barrels to, say they were sound and they weren't. And then they'd hide them in the back of the ship's store. So the captain, be out at sea somewhere well away from Liverpool. And then and the other thing they used to do too, a lot of the times with the sailing ships, was just whack copper plates to stop the worm eating the timber. And they wouldn't repair them. They'd just whack more copper plates on them. So the ship's captain usually had to stay there at the yard and supervise the whole process of the repairs going on to it, or he could end up, sinking out at sea.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And it was actually something that happened to Cook on Endeavour. Was that?
Can you imagine though? Say the four of us, all got families, all got friends. If we were in those times, so we're going to set off, say, to Australia. We're going to be gone maybe for a year or more, and no way of contacting anyone. No e-texts, no phones, no mail. You're just gone. And chances are, and there's a healthy chance, you'll never come back.
Yeah.
And no one will ever know what happened to you. Ever. Nothing. You just vanished.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Well,
I know Cook gets a lot of trashing now because they try to get him Australia Day, Invasion Day and stuff. But I think the man's remarkable. I mean, to say that he ran his ship aground in Cape Tribulation or Cooktown to repair it. So he's landed on a land that a brand new land. He's got to find wood that'll actually work with the ship. It's just, this is incredible.
There's an amazing book called Farther Than Any Man Is in the Distance, and it talks a lot about Cook, all his, right from when he was a farm boy right through to how he rose up in the Merchant Navy and then went to the Royal Navy. And he was an incredible navigator and everything, but they landed on the beach in Cooktown, and they thought they'd landed in purgatory. They were just like the crocodiles. The natives were really hostile and violent and throwing spears at them. And, and round the world, the hotter the environment, the more violent the people were as a rule. So if it was cold, they were pretty nice. They all had to work together as a community to survive. But when it was hot, you could pretty much, food was everywhere, and and then also up north they had a bit of influence, I think, from Papua New Guinea. I could be wrong here, but there's a bit more Polynesian in them up the top, so they're a little bit more warlike than the Melbourne or the bottom of Western Australia Aboriginals, but by accounts, like I wasn't there, so I don't know. But anyway, they got they got Endeavour up on the beach. The first amazing thing was the lump of coral actually stuck in the hole. So and it was that, so if it was that big, it would have sunk. If it came out, the Endeavour would have just gone straight down.
Yeah.
And anyway, and then they patched it up. Cook thought it was going to take 2 months, maybe something like that. And they did it in, I can't remember, but it was like 18 days or something. They would just work day and night. Crocodiles, giant pythons that were 100-kilo pythons dropping out of trees. And it was like something out of a horror movie. They're walking through the jungle going to get water and food. And then they go, "Hey, Jono," and they turn around and he wasn't there. And they go back and there's this giant snake strangling him. So, it was, they just worked double shifts and got it done and got out of there.
That
Yeah.
well,
It's the other thing.
go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I was just going to say, boys, the other thing, thanks for that, Bill. That's really great to listen to you with all that knowledge. The thing that's always amazed me as well, which you might be able to help me on with this, is how in the hell did those ships survive the oceans? Do you know what I mean? Like, they weren't big ships, and
I
they
know
were
about
wooden.
this one. Captain Cook's ship. I remember him reading about. He actually said he wanted a ship like a cork, so it's almost, and it just basically bounces around. That's what he said. That's what he wanted for stability. Very slow.
Is that right?
Oh, that's what I
You're-
heard.
You're not taking the piss there, are you?
Me.
No, that's full on. Yeah.
Is it? Okay, yeah, I'm just checking because there's still 1-0.
Yeah, because I mean, when you get a 20-foot swell, for example, out in the middle of the ocean,
Oh yeah,
they would have gone through some major storms and mini hurricanes and the massive swells they would have had to have encounter at times on their journeys, and how they survived. It was just incredible, absolutely incredible. Yeah.
People now, they have the internet basically on their ships, and they're all controlled by a central thing, something which tells them go this way to avoid this storm. These guys had none of that. Nothing.
That's right.
They had to read the weather, read the oceans. I even read about the I think it's the Polynesians, because they populated a lot of the islands in the Pacific while we were all, I don't know what we were doing in Europe, and they had none of that. They used to read the waves. Apparently, they learned if a wave hit, they could tell, okay, there's land that way by the way the waves were hitting the boat. Wow. Well, that's what the old men at the front of the boat told the other people.
Well, you go just on that, Michael.
Over that way.
Look, the Maoris must have been smart navigators. Do you know what I mean? Because they were coming down in those, canoe type boats. They must have been very smart, in their own, at the time themselves. Yeah.
Have you ever heard? The Vikings? Like, we've probably got Viking blood in us if we're all from the UK of some origin. But when I was in school, the Vikings were sold to us that they would come and they would raid the coast and they'd kill the men and they'd rape all the women. But as I got older and you're looking at these historic facts, I was thinking, you know what? I bet the English were probably small. They didn't bath much. Farmers, smelly, grumpy, very little sense of humor. And then they hear the women hear that the Vikings are turning up, tall, blonde hair, smell like the original Old Spice. I reckon the women said to the men, "They're going to kill you. They're going to murder you." And I reckon you should run away, and we'll protect the place. I actually reckon it was more like manpower turning up. And then when the women came back, they said, "Oh, that was terrible. I don't know how I'll get over it. Hopefully they'll be back next month." And
manpower turn up with the G-strings on.
Those caps were a novelty thing, a novelty stripper thing. Come on, girls. Who wants to play with the X? And
that's interesting. Alex has just said there apparently the Egyptians landed in New South Wales. What does he mean by that?
What's that?
Who knows about that?
Oh, yeah, I've heard that. There's talk that the Egyptians found New South Wales, and
right.
We don't know. We've basically, as this reporter was telling me the other day, and Joe Rogan said the same. Everything's up for grabs. Is the world flat around? Who knows? Do we land on the moon? Who knows? Everything is. That's how it's been now. No one really knows anything. The only thing you sort of know is an inner voice inside you, but that's why they used to say, say this list of 28. Just finish this, Paul. That list of the 28 pedophiles that they say, oh, they don't want to release that because it'll, it'll upset the public and undermine confidence, whatever. We survived Rolf Harris getting arrested. We survived, we'd handle it no problem. They're just protecting themselves. And so everything, we're in a period of actually going, we're drenched in lies. There's lies everywhere. So what is the actual truth apart from what we see, touch, hear, and feel?
It's a bit crazy, but isn't it? Because why the fuck would you want to tie a kangaroo down? Tie me kangaroo down sport. What do you want to tie a kangaroo down for, you dickhead?
I tell you what, Skippy hated working with Rolf. Skippy hated it. That's where she got that word. That's where that came from. Hey, it's Rolf.
The helicopter's gone down. Which way?
We were laughing about that show too. That show. I mean, Skippy, that was hilarious. Was it you, Bill, who was saying, or someone else was saying the way Skippy could talk to someone? Remember the helicopter pilot, Tony Bonner? And he goes, what? Sonny's rolled the eat. He's down in the cliff. He's got a hook.
Coach is in the park.
And we're all sitting there like this.
Yeah. Oh, shit, yeah.
I mean, I remember. Who remember Batman? The Batman that we grew up with.
Oh,
who can remember the time when you thought?
I loved all those shows. Loved all of them. Yeah.
Real. I don't think this is real. But who can remember a time when you were actually watching it thinking it was real, or was that just me?
Oh no, I can't remember. It was fantasy. It was fantasy, mate. It was like Disneyland was fantasy. Sunday night Disneyland was on. Disneyland was fantasy. Sunday night Disney, or the other channel we had was what was that Molly Meldrum show, Countdown. So me and my brother used to want to watch Disneyland, and the sisters are older. They wanted to watch Countdown. It's like we only had one telly. Very rarely.
Yeah, Dougie Mulray, Sherbet.
Yeah,
Sherbet, Darryl Braithwaite, and Sherbet. They were the probably the originals on Countdown. Dougie Mulray. Who else was there? Renee Gay. I used to get on there. Old Renee Gay. She was a great singer. Yeah, she was good, Renee. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. But it was so much fun. It was almost like thrown together, and very often things didn't work, and they didn't finish the songs, and yet it was prime time watching. We'd go to school the next day. Everyone's talking about what you saw on Countdown.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I don't know how we went from being simple and just things were. I don't know. We thought they were simple then, but they seemed simpler. How many
times back in the day, boys? Put your hand. How many times did you hear your father when you're on the phone? Say when you were 16, you're talking to your girlfriend or whatever. We're talking to your mates on the phone. How many times did you hear your father yell out, "Jesus Christ, get off the bloody phone, son"? I heard it about 5 times a week.
I remember, just to show you how simple we are, think of the programs that were prime time that now are outlawed. Miss Universe was prime time, Sunday night viewing. And who remembers the going, for those of you with a black and white TV, she's wearing a blue dress with a red sash. And you'd all go, oh. But that was prime time viewing. Or Snooker with Eddie Charlton.
I loved it. Oh, mate, that was gold. Eddie Charlton, Pop Black. You'd have the daily double at Harold Park Trots on the ABC, and they'd have Pop Black on. And then before all that, I think the Dave Allen show was on at about 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Pot Black, and then they'd throw in the Trots. They go to the Trots in Sydney at the old Harold Park Paceway and give you the daily double. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Well, okay, the other one show was the Leyland brothers. I mean, you could not. Who would produce the Leyland brothers now? They're going, you kidding? Neither of them, what? There's like sitting there going, that's a big rock, Mal. There's a big rock, Mal.
Travel the countryside, ask the Leyland brothers.
But they were watchable. And it was just, you know, and they didn't do anything really extreme. But it was, so I don't know if there was Dick Emery, if someone was controlling what we were watching to make it feel like it was simple, or they were just being business people and going, hey, I don't know why they like it. I think it's shit, but people love watching it. Leave it on, you know?
Well, it would have been the first travel show, really. The Leyland Brothers.
Yeah.
There was like, you know, people used to write in a letter and go, oh, I've heard Alice Springs is really beautiful. They race there and all this. And then they go and...
Yeah, Michael, do you remember Michael, do you remember Dick Emery's favourite his favourite calling card in his show, Dick Emery? Do you remember?
No.
He'd say, oh, you are naughty, but I like you.
It's like he used to dress up as a woman who was trans. We had Danny LaRue. You know.
Oh, mate, it was so good. So funny. So funny. So funny.
Someone put John English, and I had a musical that these producers were interested in doing, and one of the characters was this old homeless guy. And I finally got hold of John English or his manager, which was his partner then. And I contacted her. We sent her some stuff about her, sent her the script. And she was going, oh, this is great. Oh, John's going to love this. Oh, he's just going to love this. He's just in hospital at the moment, just having a small procedure, but he's going to love this. I went to bed thinking, oh, my God, I'm through. I'm going to have John English on this thing. I'm heading to the boards, man. This musical is going to get on. And the next morning I wake up and all of my Facebook feed is R.I.P. John English, R.I.P. John English, because he died in that minor medical procedure.
Oh my gosh.
Part of me was grieving, thinking, because I really like the guy. But a part of me was thinking, did he get to look at the script? Did he have any comments other than
that'll do me? That'll do me.
Oh yes.
I felt like saying, tell me an actor you don't like, and I'll send him this death.
Oh, that's classic. That is gold,
I remember in the early 1970s, that's where he became famous. Him and Marsha Hines starred in Jesus Christ Superstar in the early 70s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, he was brilliant.
Yeah.
He was entertaining. He was funny. He just had it.
He did.
Yeah. Oh, he was. Yeah.
He was. I love the guy, and he looked like he'd been born as a drug addict. You know what I mean? He had that face.
Yeah.
As a young, fresh face, he just looked like that. But he was so great. Other people here. Someone wants to know what was the English show with the kid in the bus? Huh?
Kid in the bus. On the buses. Reg Varney.
The Sullivans.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the Sullivans when the mother died. Whoever remember that? It was like Australia was mourning.
Grace died. Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
It was,
and Tom died at war.
Yeah.
I remember Tom died at war. Yeah.
Uncle Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah, great
He
show.
was a
Great
scoundrel,
show.
Harry, wasn't he? He was one of those scoundrels. He was the Pommy, and there was good humour in that show. There was good Pommy humour in that show. They are frigging good at their humour, the Poms, aren't they?
Champions.
Yeah.
Well, to show you how crazy the world is now, do you remember the show What's Your Language? Watch My Language or something. It was a teacher, an English teacher, and he had a classroom full of immigrants to England from all over the world. There were Pakistanis, Indians, you name it. They were all in the class. Do you remember that? It was just a show, and he had this sort of, I think it was called Watch My Language or something like that. What's that?
Had a multicultural class.
Mind Your Language.
Yes.
Really funny. Really funny. And it's not allowed to be shown today in Australia because it's so racist. And yet I was helping these people write a piece, and all of them were from Iraq and Iran. And so these people were the people who would find this racist. And I was at their place helping them write and getting this piece together. And they said to me, "You want to see something funny? This is our favorite show." And they watched the reruns of that show and they were laughing their boxes off. So we're not allowed to watch it in case we offend them. And yet they're watching it, laughing their frigging boxes off because they think it's so funny. How do we get to this point where we're so bloody stupid? You know what I mean? And you can't.
Well, I remember. I remember a show. I remember a show, an English show we used to watch. Was Love? Remember Love Thy Neighbour? Love Thy Neighbour.
Yeah.
And that was yeah. And he used to call him the West Indian Englishman. He used to call Eddie a white snowflake, and then he'd say, "Shut up, you bloody nignog," you know. And
careful, you're going to get shut down.
Mate, you get 5 years for that.
I'll have half.
Yeah, I'll have half, Arthur. Yeah, you get 5 years if you showed that now, Michael.
Yeah.
What was the other? What was that? Kingswood Country.
Kingswood.
Oh,
yeah.
Fine.
Leave the money on the fridge.
And then the Wog Boys came out and they were making funny as well. You know, this is it.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I feel like we're one of the major things we're losing with all this woke PC, you know, radical left rubbish that's come in the last 5 to 10 years is, you know, we were modern Australia was built on our larrikinism, Australian larrikinism. That's how we bonded together through, you know, building the country through world wars, you know, taking the piss out of each other, and then, you know, taking the Australian slang and new people. Yeah, sure, the new migrants that came to Australia copped a little bit. Yeah, I remember, the Italians. I grew up in the eastern suburbs of Sydney. I went to school with Indians, Greeks, Chinese, everyone, and so I can remember all that. But you know, we were all, at the end of the day, we had our fights, and, you know, it was, you know, in the schoolyard and all that sort of stuff. But, you know, some of my greatest mates in life today are Lebanese. I've got Lebanese mates. I've got Sri Lankan. These are my best mates. Lebanese mates, Sri Lankan mates, Chinese mates. You know, they're all, and they, you know, their parents came to Australia in the 50s and 60s. And, but, you know, we even those great migration of people in the 50s and 60s, like the Italians, the Greeks, the Poms, the Christian Lebanese that came out, they've become absolutely wonderful Australians. You know, they love this country. And we've got this whole bunch of, like, I don't know, just mushrooms that have taken over and absolutely, hijacked the joint. And, you know, I really feel for not just myself, but I feel for our Australians of all different, that have come from all around the world, from all different cultures and races, that we can't just be like, guys, this is our culture. We're a team of larrikins. We came out as convicts, for God's sake. You know, we had to find some humour in the beginning to survive. You know, we were coming across the ocean for 3 months in chains. We worked in chains, you know, pulling oysters off the rocks down at the harbour, or pulling shell off the rocks down the harbour to make the cement to build this country. We had to find some some humour in our lives, and I feel like that's just been totally stripped. You know, and I asked my fellow Australians, has that been a benefit to our country and our children's futures? I would say no. Yeah.
Well, a lot of the words, like WOG, well, that was on your passport, Western orientated gentleman. So that was the abbreviation they put in their passport when they come to Australia.
Was it really?
And Dago, right? Dago. So the Italians used to work, could have been Greeks, I'm pretty sure it was Italians. They're up in the cane fields cutting cane. And they'd go, the Australians would go, come on, mate, we're going to the pub, it's knock-off time. And they go, no, when the day goes. And they'd work till sundown. And that's how they got the name Dago. So it was actually a term of respect. But now it's been twisted into some form of, derogatory name.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Remember that film that came out, They're a Weird Mob? And it was actually done by I think he was Italian or Greek, and he filmed Australia from his perspective. It was a comedy, but it was brilliant. It made fun of us, but you still liked us. You know what I mean? It was. I remember some guy was building a tree with a pickaxe, and he's like trying to dodge the pick, and it was all this. That's all I remember. But I remember we were all laughing at it because we could get the humor. It's what they're trying to do, especially with men. Is Bill does it in his workshop. Men have a way of getting on, and they can put each other down all day. My father still does it to me. He's almost 90. And he just can't stop himself. It's hilarious, but it's a form of love. It's a form of friendship, form of bondship. What it means is I am not afraid. This man is not a threat to me. He can make fun of me. I know it's bullshit. And when the tips are down, he'll be there. And I think that's what they're trying to break up. It's a psychological way of breaking and trying to divide that.
And the other thing that the lefties don't bring up, of course, is that the English, Irish, and Scottish Europeans that came out here to the original Europeans that built this country. We all took the piss out of each other. The Irish copped it hard, Then when all those Irish jokes we grew up with and everything. My ancestry is Irish, Scottish. I remember when the 10-pound poms came out to Australia. They used to cop it. Bloody pommy bastard. Have a look.
My mum told me I came home from school in grade 1 and said to her, "What's a pommy bastard?" And she said, "What?" She said, "The people called it."
Hey, Paul, just in saying that, when you said the bloody lefties, like I just honestly don't get this left and right thing. Help me out. Give us a layman's term description, because I just never looked into it because I've been busy.
Yeah, look, I suppose for me, when you look at what's going on now, it's been created by the people. Most of it's been created by the people that live that their political views are of on the left. More on the socialist side, more on the
what's the left? What's the left?
Or what do they call them? Liberals. So they, they're not conservatives. Do you know what I mean? They're more on the left, the woke side, basically. So they want political correctness. You can't take the piss. Say something or working, all that sort of stuff, mate. Yeah. They're offended. The offended society. Rather than just look. I'm not talking.
Oh, mate.
We're in trouble.
I'm not
easily offended and would be in Bill's workshop. Good luck.
Yeah.
You'll be sitting in a corner with an old drill crying.
I'll bring them a tissue. It's okay.
I mean, what I'm trying to say too is, I'm generally a people lover. I can get angry with people and pissed off with people, and but I genuinely love people. I don't care where they come. Hey,
what you gonna do that for, Willis? Get angry and pissed off with people? Don't worry about them.
But generally, I feel like I'm more of a Unitarian. But So there's a big difference between just having a few jokes between a couple of mates and people taking a bit of the piss out of each other. And not being, but obviously I'm not talking about being cruel to another person or being derogatory.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about our general larrikin attitude, and it's an Australian way of loving people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I really, honestly do think it probably does. It probably does have to stop. It's gone a bit too far. This larrikinism thing, this actually carrying on like Australian mate. I'm sick of it. I'm looking for somewhere else to move, some other country to move to.
I heard North Korea is really good, Rich.
This show would have got us all arrested and thrown in the clink if we were in England. That's what's happening.
Imagine putting this on in Comrade Starmer's regime in England. We'd all be in the clink at the moment. Yeah.
I get the top bunk.
No, you don't.
Do you snore?
I'm the smallest. I'm up there.
No, mate, you'll go where we tell you.
No,
Put the chains on him, Bill.
He'd probably do what he did to Tommy Robinson, give us 18 months in solitary confinement.
If you get your yogurt cup, you can bail out the toilet and then you can talk to each other anyway. So.
But this thing that we have now, like this, like Paul's never met Richard or Bill, and Richard's never I don't think you've ever physically met Bill.
No.
This banter we've got going on, this is kind of what they're trying to stop, and there's been a huge pressure on it to stop. And when I tell people all the time, when I worked in the trams, in the breaks, this is what it was like. You get the men together, this is what they're like. Then they had 4-hour breaks for split shifts. They'd be like this, playing pool, taking a piss for 4 hours. And they didn't sit there bleeding their hearts, opening their hearts. They just took the piss of each other, but they were still really close with it. And people couldn't understand it. And I asked some of the old timers there once, because I was, when I was writing this play Maroon, I said, how many suicides has there been? Because you guys are the high suicide demographic, late, mature white males. None. In 40 years, none. Not one suicide. And I think it's because the men had this. The men don't need psychiatrists holding them, telling me. They actually need someone they can just take the piss off, lose their shit sometimes, have someone go, oh, well, mate, you're going to die soon, so let's get over it. Just you know what I mean? And this is how they were. But if something was really bad, the men were there. I remember one guy got cancer, a great friend of mine, actually a gay guy. And I said, mate, I'll do a whip around to get some money for you to help you, because he had a mortgage and everything. And he said, no, they won't give me any money. I know what they're like. I'm gay, they're this. I'm too proud to ask. And I said, well, I'm not proud. I'll ask for you. The men who you'd think would have taken the piss of him, because they're always taking the piss of him being gay and stuff, and he gave back back as what he got.
Yeah.
Thousands. The Asians who never spoke to him were coming up to me with envelopes full of money going, for Chris. It was overwhelming how beautiful these guys were to someone in their mob. And one of them told me once, that guy's crazy. He goes, it doesn't matter. You come here, you find your groove, because the men weren't going anywhere. They didn't want to be promoted. They'd been kicked out of banking. They'd been kicked out of printing. Yeah. And they saw this was like a safety net job. And so they weren't trying to better each other to get somewhere else. They were happy to stay there, and they were happy. They were happy with each other. And then another corporation came along, and you three would have just all lost your jobs very quickly. They got rid of the larrikins. And so all they were left with was silence. And the place was never the same. You have to be careful of what you think, because someone will dob you in. Where before, to just show how it worked, I once had this crazy woman get on my bus, on my tram. And, she just got on my tram and it was having a go at something. Then she got on again in the city a few days later. I was like, ugh. And I had my door open, which I wasn't supposed to. And she's just going at me. And I just closed the door and I said, lady, go back to Crazy Land, say hello to all your friends. And she said, "You can't speak to me like that." And the tram was jammed full of people. And I got on the mic. I said, "Go home to Crazy Town. Say hello to all your friends." And then I just drove. I didn't care. Anyway, then I go into the boss. The boss calls me in, or the second boss. I called George. It was like Sopranos in there. And he's got this huge file. He goes, "So this woman's written to the ombudsman. She's written to a member of parliament. All these things that she's done." And he's going, "You really pissed her off, you know?" And he said, "Yeah." And then he went, and then he had a bit of a smile and a giggle, and he threw it in the bin. That was it. I wasn't even told off. He just wanted to hear the story and have a giggle. He didn't give a shit, you know.
Go.
And the reason he did it is I didn't have complaints much. So if I'd had constant complaints, I probably would have dealt with it. But I never got complaints. So when I got one, that was it, you know. And
That's Michael. Just to that. Well, before I forget, where I see a major difference in our culture now, modern culture now, is that subconsciously our young are being programmed to be victims.
oh yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Oh,
100%.
don't worry. We'll make we'll keep you safe. And if something goes wrong, you can get money out of it. You can sue them. You can they'll lose their job. No one's being taught now to stand on their own 2 feet as an individual and take responsibility and take a bit of shit occasionally. You know what I mean? Everyone's taught to be a little victim.
Yeah, I said that about bullying at school. Maybe we should bring bullying back, because everyone goes bullying. But I mean, Bill wouldn't have had a problem because he's so tall. But as a little fella, you're the same size as me, Paul. You copped bullying, but you had to learn it.
My first lesson I learned in the schoolyard at primary school, I was about 10, and I pinched my best mate's sandwiches off him. Mum used to make us sandwiches, blah, 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 blah. And he had ham. My mum used to make me Vegemite. This bloke had he had ham and tomato or something. I said, "I'm going to knock his sandwiches off," right? So I knocked his sandwiches off. And, mate, it was a good lesson for me in life. We were good mates. We used to have compulsory boxing and, to box each other and all that. But he came up to me in the playground and said to me something like, "Paul, you've knocked my sandwiches off," Terry told me. And I've gone, "Oh, yeah, right, mate." And he's gone bang, and he whacked me right. We're about 10 years of age, and he whacked me right on the nose. Yeah, he belted me on the nose. And Coogee Prep, I'll never forget it. Little Coogee Prep, and mate, I didn't. I said to myself, you know what? Internally, I didn't retaliate. I said, I deserve that, and that taught me a good lesson. And we were good mates after that. We were best mates. We got on with life. You know what I mean? But I remember that as a little. Yeah.
I got to say, Michael, I did get hassled at school for my height. Yeah, big eyes, being tall.
Really?
Yeah.
What sort of stuff would they do?
Well, you just get constant, it's just like taking the piss, like you're saying. So people would hassle you. I'd little guys like you'd come up and start hassling me, but they'd just keep out of reach, And then if you ever actually caught up to them in the tuck shop crew or something, you're like, "Hey, Griffiths, what did you say?" "Oh, no, I was only joking. And then you run away and go, "Oh, you big bastard."
Okay, you're claiming you did, but tell me, in your, I only got to year 10. I probably had 7 fights in school. How many did you have, Billy?
Not many.
Yeah, that's good.
I had
they
one.
They had a chance with me. And they did.
Yeah, usually with someone a couple of forms higher than me. Yeah.
But it did destroy me. You learn to fight, you learn to this, and fighting didn't get to crazy levels. There was no machetes. It was just a bit of biff, and then someone would come in and pull it off. Usually they had a teacher in the background going behind the crowds, watching the fight until another teacher turned up and said, "Oh, yes, let's break this up." So, I just wonder how we could get. But the beauty is of always saying, it's a celebration of humanity. We liked being alive. We were there was depression, there was all these other issues, but we were still having fun and living. And now it's just fear-based. You watch social media, oh, Ice Age now, this. It's just constant, like, pressure to really make you depressed and add up the pressure. And I just feel that if something did happen to the internet, I know this sounds bizarre, it'd be real. I think I saw a Simpsons episode where the internet crashed and all the children walked out and were playing in the snow, and they were all coming to life. Until the internet came back on.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, just on that, Michael, my dad, who's not with us anymore, Dad was in business all his life, and believe me, he was up and down. You know, he was, he went broke a couple of times and that, but he always, he had, he'd be making lots of money or he'd be broke, but he knew one big lesson me and my brothers learned from, one of the biggest lessons me and my brothers learned from our father, is that no matter how Dad was regarding his, at the time, whether he had money or not, or whether he was going good or bad, he knew how to live, Yeah. And I looked at him one night in the sunroom in the old house, and I looked at Dad. He'd gone bust in a property deal or something. Anyway, he was sitting there having a scotch in the sunroom, and I looked at him. I said, "You know what?" To myself, I said to myself, I was about 14. I said, "This old bugger, he's gone broke again. He's still getting pissed 3 nights a week. He's still taking Mum out twice a week. He's still playing golf, and he's going all right." And Dad's attitude was, he said to us when we were kids, he said, "Son, me and my brothers," he said, "plenty of people have got money, and money's not, if you earn $10 million, that's great. Your father's been trying all his life to earn money. I've had money, I've lost money, blah, blah, blah." He said, what the problem with people is, he said, even with people with lots of money, they don't know how to live. And that took away the fear. Watching my father in business up and down, up and down, up and down, that took away any fear I had as a kid of getting out and having a go in life. I've been broke twice myself in life. Do you know what I mean? I've been bankrupt a couple of times in business in life because I've got out and had a go. Do you know what I mean? But that I put that, the reason I've been able to do that in my life without any fear is because that was taught from my father.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, all these people, all these bureaucrats and all these politicians now are going, oh, safe, everyone's got to be safe and we'll look after. What I want to say to people tonight out there that are listening to our show, if you're living for safety, you're not living. Now, I'm not talking about, if someone's coming at you with a knife, wants to kill you. We all need to be safe in society. But I'm talking about having a go in life. Get out and have a go in life. Look, I'd rather die broke, knowing I've had a crack at something, than just, not having a go at all. And I've tried to put that into my. I've tried to put that into my children. You know what I mean? So. Yeah. Oh, gee, I see a lot. I see a lot. Yeah.
Paul, it's honestly very important we do wear our safety glasses during this show, because you just don't know where the unsafe things are coming from. So I can't fucking see through them, so I'm going to put my other glasses back on now. But fucking, that's better. I can see you again. Fucking hell.
Do I put them in my ears?
Oh man, I forget to wear me bloody.
Just to show you, Rich, though, they've been going on about digital ID. It's going to end the world, and these things very they're real. The social credit score system, we seem to be heading that. But I think what's happening now, at least amongst our community, I don't know about the rest of Australia, is I'm over being frightened. I actually have been frightened the whole time, but all they want me to be is frightened, and so I fight back by going, I'm not frightened. frightened. I don't care. You're going to
Yeah,
shoot me with
yeah,
a
yeah.
bullet.
100%.
You're gonna throw me in
Yeah.
jail. Do it.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
frightened. Talk to the people from the Eastern European countries who are under communism. They said that's how it
Yeah.
ended. The young people went frightened. Kill me or give me liberty. I'm not living in fear anymore. And so I wonder if this could happen. If we just
Yeah.
don't be frightened. Whatever comes our way, we can deal with it because humans are very good at dealing with shit. We've been doing
Yeah.
it since
Yeah.
the age.
Talk to
You
your
know?
local plumber, you know?
But most of
Right.
us do. I mean,
What a job.
honestly, when you think about it every day, you forget about it. But most days, you'll have 4 or 5 things go wrong to varying degrees. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And it's
Yeah.
and you're constantly up one minute, then you down. One of your kids is this or this. There's
Oh,
constant shit going on. My father's
Definitely.
had that all his life, and yet
Mm,
he's almost 90, and he's on the phone to me tonight on live. He's got no top on. He's fit as a fiddle. He's brilliantly awake and alive. He's hilarious. And he's going on. And I said, please don't tell me you're naked. He goes, you want to look? I go, no. And he's sitting there making my mum giggle. And he's just, and to me, this is living. They haven't managed to break him. He's lived in their system. He's done what they wanted. He's done this, but he's still himself. And if you don't like him, he does not give a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck.
yeah.
He doesn't
Yeah.
care. He only cares for his
that's
mum,
cool.
and then a bit more is me and my sister and my other brother, and it goes out like that. But mum is the center of his universe, and he doesn't give a toss. And he's got through. He's grown up in, like, look at these people now, his age. They've gone from steam trains, stagecoach, basically horses bringing cars to the town with the milk, the shit man picking up the poo, to getting electricity. He's one of 13. They had an open fire to cook on. His mother used to cook on open fire. They didn't have a stove in their house in Wales. They've got through all of that. And yet if he talked about his life, he doesn't sit there and go, and that was bad, and that offended me, and this. No, he just talks about the extraordinary things he survived. And what he more talks about is the extraordinary things he's seen other people survive and get over. Oh, yeah, that one lost a set of twins in a car accident, and he talks about that. And he talks about a lot of funny stories. That, to me, is the life. You know what I mean? He's managed to get through, and he's remained himself, because that's, he's not hiding who he is under a virtue signaling veneer that, to try fit in with the crowd. The crowd can go jump, and I wonder if in our community, whether our community is kind of like my father in a way. Yeah, we don't want to hurt people. We don't want to be outwardly rude to people, but we want to be ourselves. We've only got one time in this life. We want to be ourselves. We don't want to be taught what to think or what we have to say. Fuck off. I actually think, I was telling Michael the other day, there's all this talk about common law, and they're trying to bring it in. I was wondering whether our community, in our dealings with each other, should start living by common law. First one is do no harm. We don't hurt each other, because we are adapting to common law now. We still work with their laws and follow all those, but we have laws amongst our community and we follow them because we want to, and stuff like this. This is where I think we could evolve, because I think the better we become at being like this, talking, chatting, having fun, reminiscing, not giving a shit, it'll be like a light in the darkness. And I think the people will get so cold and lonely, they'll gravitate towards us thinking, I just want to be a human being, man. I want to feel good. I want to be myself. I want to say what I want to say. I want to talk. I want to take the piss. I don't want to be constantly self-filtering in the fear that I don't get in trouble. These are my thoughts as I go forward now, because like a third show I've done like this, and I'm enjoying them, It's just people talking.
And boys, how many Michael? Give me you probably all of you. What percentage do you reckon in Parliament, in the major parties, Liberal and Labor, what percentage in the federal Parliament or parliaments, right, state and federal, what percentage of politicians do you think at the moment in these major parties have actually run their own businesses or, come out of rather than be career politicians? Yeah, there you go, Rich. Yeah. Yeah.
Zero.
Can I just add something to that?
Sure.
I actually went to a very expensive boys' school when I grew up. My father was a very successful businessman, but on the demographics of the school, we were in the lower end of the wealth of the school, and every single family there had their own business that had handed down from their grandfather. Like my father's manufacturing business was an offspin from my grandfather's automotive car sales business that started off making things for the war effort during World War II, and then that company didn't just fold afterwards. It kept going. Then my father made things for oil rigs and lights and hazardous locations, and then every single family I went to, and I got another good friend who I ride motorbikes with, and he went to King's College, which is another very expensive boys' school. And his father made wetsuits and invented the machine to make cornicing for gyprock, and like just amazing people throughout school. And another friend's grandfather had escaped Hungary, and he came here and he started making dresses for like, I can't even think, Gowings and Lowe's and places, and they were all extremely wealthy families, a few generations on, and all these businesses got handed down. Well, now not one of them is around anymore. They've all been shut down.
Wow.
My father's business, everyone's business.
Wow.
So not one of those companies is in Australia. My friend his dad made the wetsuits, and he used to do it, and they moved the business up to Port Macquarie with tax incentives and everything. That now the Chinese can make a wetsuit in a package for cheaper than he can buy the rubber. It hasn't even cut it out yet.
Yeah.
So it's like they've really blasted the middle class out of Australia. So for one of those politicians, maybe they had a family that was wealthy, but they said they knew the writing was on the wall and they got out. They've gone into politics, which is the only place you make money.
And Michael, thanks for that, Bill. That was fantastic. And as a playwright, Michael, what Bill was just saying there is, if I can put it another way, what these mongrels are doing to our country is they're taking the theatre out of it.
Yeah.
They're taking they're taking the theatre, the life theatre, which we all live, out of the country and just making us bloody, bureaucratic robots. It's mate, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, it's corporatism.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I think is happening in corporatism. G'day, Steve. Hey, Stefan. I think it's all come from the corporates and trying to they're using the fact that jobs are scarce. So if you're in one, you want to keep it. They're laying down the rules.
I've just got to get my charger. Sorry.
Yeah, I might have to go anyway. But the trams, I remember the trams brought out a social media policy that said, if, say, Rich was a tram driver, if he posts anything anywhere that anyone can find offensive, they could basically sack him. And so that's basically saying, shut up. And that's what we're seeing across the country. I think all the corporations are doing this. So Australians now are too frightened to have these conversations, where when we were growing up, this is how people spoke. People just said, they just spoke. Think of the Azaria Chamberlain arguments. I was a young waiter then. Every table was arguing about Azaria Chamberlain. Did the mother do it? Did the dingo do it? But no one broke up family.
Yeah.
No one lost a job.
Wasn't a dingo. Wasn't a dingo. It was a butler. The butler did it.
Butler in the Tirana.
With the candlestick. Yeah, but the thing was, and also if people, the young people don't remember, so the first headlines were Dingo takes my baby, and the next day or the 2 days later, I think I heard people going, what do you call a pram? What do dingoes call a pram? Meals on
Meals
Wheels.
on Wheels, yeah.
And the joke kept coming. But what I think is life is very, very hard. It can be very hard. I actually think I do believe we come from somewhere else. And just before we're born, one of the gods or the angels goes, oh, here, you're going to need this. What is it? It's a sense of humor. Believe me, you're going to need it. And it's a coping mechanism to get through life. I remember I was at a funeral for a young guy that died tragically, and it should have been really sad, but his family and friends just recounted the happy stories and the funny stories, and the people in the audience were laughing, and we weren't mocking him. We were celebrating what he did that people remembered, the funny, the crazy times. And I thought, this is how strong we are. We can't stop death taking us, but we can defy death by living while we're alive, by being ourselves. Don't reach the grave thinking all these things I wanted to say and wanted to do, and I never did because I wanted to reach here safely. So reach where? The grave? So to me, it's a time, I think a revolution would happen is if people start living. And a perfect example is Ange, who I've done an interview with, who I just posted it tonight, who's 64. She lost her husband to suicide 13 years ago. She's got every right just to be a bitter old cow and just go away somewhere. Instead, she's in this bus. She has no idea what her future is. She doesn't care. She's loving being alive. She's fun. She's and I admire her, and I'm thinking she herself could start a renaissance, because all these other 60-year-old women are going, well, if she can do it, why can't I do it? I'm not happy where I am. I'm not happy on this boring suburban street. Why not? Why not?
It's been
One of
interesting.
I just let Paul. Just wait, Paul. Sorry, Bill. Just say we're going to say.
I just wanted to say with Ange, she's been here for a couple of months while we've been fitting out a bus.
Yeah.
And it's been a fantastic learning curve for me as well. But, she's like, oh, whatever you think. And I keep saying, no, what do you want? I'm not living in your bus. You're going to be living in it. So I think it's, but she's a fantastic, strong woman. And I'm very, very, taken by her strength. I think it's something, like you say, something other women could really draw off, I think.
Yeah. She's living by example. She's sorry, Paul, but that's why I did the interview. She's a revolutionary by example. Her way to revolt is to live, is to shrug off fear, and she's not scared. Wherever she ends up, she's going to make it. She's alive and she's a human being, and she's got people liking her for her. She's a beautiful example of the movement and how we can combat these people that want to oppress us. So you wanted to say, Paul?
Yeah, just two things on that. There's no more exciting place to live than the unknown.
Yeah.
Once you it's a hard place it's a hard fear to overcome, but if you can overcome it even to 50 or 60%, it's a fantastic way to an exciting way to live your life, and and that's what this gorgeous woman's doing, and God bless her heart. I'm not saying you don't have to plan for the future, of course you do, you have to have a bit of planning for the future, but you have to embrace the unknown as well. You have to embrace the unknown, because that's what life's all about. The other thing I want to say is the greatest acronym I've ever heard in my life, guys, is for fear. The acronym for fear. An old learned colleague told me one day, he said, never forget this, Paul. He said fear. I said, what about it? He said, false evidence appearing real. Fear, Fear, false evidence appearing real. And our kids are getting indoctrinated with all this fear porn, being shoved down their throats through the education system. And I'd say to all the young people and people out there tonight, write that down on a piece of paper. FEAR, false evidence appearing real. Yeah.
That's a good place to end it. Rich, anything you want to say before I show? Hopefully the What the Fuck Boys will be back next week.
Yeah, that was cool.
Whatever's
going on? All the best.
Oh, you got to do the intro, Michael.
I don't have the intro. They didn't give it to me.
All the best to those three.
He's lost full access. He's having a really tough time, and he's such a great guy. Tom Vogel is a fucking warrior, man. Loves his family, loves his kids, and he's constantly going through so much shit. Great guy. I mean, the What the Fuck Boys are great. Wayne's hilarious. PJ's funny when he sits there doing his thing like The Rock, but Tom Vogel is a champion. True. He's been great. He's been a great friend to me these last 5 years, and I wish there was something I could do to help him at the moment. But hopefully the boys will be back, because I think they do something really important on Tuesday nights. I think they just sit there taking the piss. They just take the piss. That's what we need. That's Australia needs to go to a doctor, and the doctor says you need about 2 weeks dose of taking the piss. Just take it, because you're too fucking fucked up in the head. It's time to relax. Don't take it too seriously. We're governed by a little gay man who's getting married, probably to play things with his little dog. Forget it. Forget it. Just start living and start remembering that. What's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen?
I think they probably could tone down the swearing a bit on the show. Like some nights I get on, I'm so offended by the swearing that's on the show. It's like sometimes I go to bed, I just don't know what to do.
I might have to
send you some 24-hour thing with England. I did the 24-hour thing with England. It was me first with a few things, and then Mark, bless his soul, and Wayne got on. I think they said so many F words in their little 20 minutes that when the English came on, they were like this. Those Australians, aren't they funny?
Hey, Rich, if they swear their heads off next week, mate, just bring up Keir Starmer, he'll sort them out.
I never really trust a man who never swears. I just don't.
I must say,
you drop your phone and it breaks. You don't swear. You don't let it look expletive, or you hit your thing with a hammer. Bill actually does get angry. I don't see Bill ever getting angry, which is remarkable. It's probably all those drugs he's on, but apart from that, he just doesn't get angry. But And the other thing I want to say too about Port Bill, and this is something we realized when we were there this time. I was talking to Roscoe. If you're watching Roscoe's a great guy. And I talking to Roscoe and Ange, I said, because Bill's actually created this sort of alternative society. Everyone's trying to create one. Well, Bill does. It's like these people that can't afford rent. They're staying there, briefly, or they're getting their bus fixed, or they're trying to get themselves back together, and Bill accommodates them. And while they're there, there's no shame. In fact, there's sort of this foundation of kindness that initially comes from Bill, but it permeates to everyone. Everyone's got it. There's just this kindness. People help each other. They help Bill. They help each other. And it's and there is piss taking, but no one takes offense to it. It's just really lovely. And I think it's if that's why we try to do a documentary. It'd be a great podcast just showing these, like, I didn't see it. Phil, I don't know if Bill saw this, but Phil, who's the hardest working unemployed man I know, was restoring this car, and he was sanding it, and he's got he's topless and he's blue. He looked like a Smurf. And it might not sound funny, but if you saw it, he just comes over and says, "What?" He's just blue, with blue old paint from this, this old ute that he's working on, and he's just laughing. He's just so funny. He's the one that picked up that big snake. I found this massive snake. He goes in. He goes, yeah. He's a hell of a character, man. You know, and he's got. And but the thing is, these characters like Phil, there's nowhere in society for him because society can only accommodate the people who play the ball and follow the rules. And Phil can't do it because he never read the rule book. He just wants to be himself. And so Bill gives him a place where he can exist, even though sometimes I think they might, you know, because I know Bill stood in one of his poos that he did down in the thing, which I think maybe we should finish with that statement. This is the test of the kindness of Bill. So Phil worked down in the graveyard with all the old Australian cars wrecking there, and he must have done a job. He was in the Philippines at the time, but he must have done a job. And then lucky Will here.
Lucky
in thongs as well. I was in a pair of thongs. I just stood in something. I'm like, what was that? Oh, you're kidding me. He just sprinkled leaves over it too. And it's like, oh, I'll tell you what, that was a choice phone call.
He's still there. That is a test of, that is the border of kindness. Stepping in each other's shit. Yeah. All right, boys, I'm going out with P3. Hopefully the What the Fuck Boys will be back next week. And tomorrow, Paul and I are interviewing Dr. Paul Gerd Vanderbosch. So we've got a big interview tomorrow. We might actually record it tomorrow and play it Sunday. We might do it live. We don't know yet. We'll just wing it. Anyway, thanks for coming on, gentlemen. Really fun hanging out. Thanks for coming on, Paul. I love having you on, man. I might get you on again because you're just so much fun to have on. And Bill, I'll be on the weekend. Kelly and I are going to Mullumbimby for the 8:30 gathering this weekend. We're booked in. Bill's coming up too with Michael. And anyone else coming from your group?
Yeah, Ange is coming and Milan will be there. Coming. And I think maybe
Milan,
Martin.
come and meet Ange. Come if you're in the area. But otherwise, there's no speeches. It's just going to be the weekend, hanging out, being humans with each other. It's really, really healing. So
can you? Is there any chance that you could organise a jet to pick me up from Denny? Because it's about a 14-hour trip.
I'd love you to be there.
My ute will not make it. My ute will not make it to Mullumbimby.
One day stop in, I'll fix it.
Yeah, stop in, I'll fix it.
Beautiful. Right, I'd love to. Jeez, I'd love to.
See everybody.
Have a good one.
And,
love you guys.
Back. See you guys.
See you, man. Cheers.
And that's not playing. Why is that not playing? Fucking hell. Come on. Wait on. Don't get upset. Here we go. And
historically, we are the debris, forgotten faces, never more to be. Instead of legends fighting for something that had no guarantees, living ghosts we chose to live and die as their worker bees. Why didn't we break out from